just want to do some brief introductions. Like I said, I'm here with the exchange. My name is Brianna. My colleague Lil, who also helps a little bit with the student employment process, is here as well. And we're both here housed in the library in the exchange. Isabel Jones is here representing HR. So she will be presenting shortly about the HR side of the student employment process. And then Kim Marks is also here as well, representing our Office of Financial Aid, to kind of share some more information about, federal work study. So definitely thankful for our partner offices. It takes, each of our offices working together and communicating in order to make the process and continue updating the process for the ease of the students, and then also for the ease of our supervisors as well. So to get started, I will be presenting and I'm going to share my work. So I'll share my screen. And first, I wanted to share some resources that we have created. So this is going to be the Exchange webpage. We've got a lot of different resources on here. Some newer resources that we've posted are going to be down here, our diversity resources. So shout out to Lil for creating those and getting those updated onto our website. But specifically, I want to show everyone the resources we have for on-campus employment.
In the meeting, there was no issues, nothing, and then literally like 3 hours later.
I think someone might be unmuted, so if we could.
So JQ's aware of them. I sent them over to him.
But so this is our student on-campus employment page. You'll see our student supervisor agreement. This is something that all new student supervisors are required to complete in order to gain access to an employer account on Handshake, which I'll show in a second. It's a short 3 or 4 question survey that after watching this video, you should have all the answers to. So it's not meant to be confusing, but just meant to reiterate the important parts of the hiring process. If you would click on all of these, it's going to open up a bunch of different videos that are going to go into more depth that we're going to go into today about, specifically job postings, reviewing applications. It'll talk more about federal work study, how to write an engaging job description. So wanted to just highlight that there are a lot of different resources that we have here on our webpage for you all to be able to access. But I also want to take you guys to Handshake. So Handshake is the board where we're posting all of our student positions. And when you're logging in for the first time, you'll actually go up here and create an account. This will allow you to create an employer account. Otherwise, you'll be able to sign in down here. One thing you'll want to keep in mind, especially when you are creating an account for the first time, you want to create an employer account. So when this Marian University login pops up, you're not going to want to select that because that'll enter you as a student, and then you won't have the access to post the job positions and you won't be able to view the postings. So make sure you're logging in using your Handshake credentials. It just takes you to an extra step of confirming your password, but it'll make sure that you have all the access to be able to view the postings. Sorry, I went to my career services account, so I'm switching to my employer account really fast. So this is a screen that you guys should see when you're logging in for the first time. You'll be able to see jobs that have already been posted, upcoming events. So I'm going to take you guys specifically to jobs. And you can see any of the active jobs currently. You'll see that we are encouraging our student and anyone that's posting positions to be adding the semester that the students will be employed in the title. This helps Isabel when we're going through the next step in process as she's going through and noting when the student's going to be employed. So if you could make sure to add that in your job title, that would be really helpful for us. Another thing that we want to encourage everyone is that when you are going and creating a job, if you've already created and posted a job and it's expired, to not, instead of reopening that specific position, to duplicate that. By reopening it, it's actually going to prevent those students that had already applied for that position to reapply for it, since they technically already applied. This will be helpful, you know, as each school year our students are having to reapply for the jobs. If we're reopening it, the students that we want to continue that haven't graduated already, they come into issues where they're not able to see the postings. So to prevent any confusion for our employers and our students, just as you're going in here, make sure you're duplicating those postings. As always too, if you have questions about that, you can contact myself or contact Lil, and we can help walk you through the process of how to duplicate the posting. And again, our on-campus resources on our website can help with that as well. And I want to just show you a little bit about what it looks like when you select a posting. I chose one for the fall since we're coming up in, but you'll be able to see like the specific applicants, job details are on here as well. So this is about the job description. I wanted to specifically point out this position because sometimes we do have positions where we already are knowing, yes, we have an applicant in mind for this position. And this one highlights right at the top, you know, these are returning ambassadors that already are hired in this role. They're just returning for the next school year. As you're going through, especially as we're approaching a new school year, again, we want to reiterate, you do have to rehire those students for the next school year regarding the hiring process. And I know Isabel goes into that a little bit in the HR process as well. But this is one of the ways that you can make sure that information is noted in the job description, that, you know, there's already an applicant in mind for this role. And again, just an example of a job description, but if you're having troubles figuring out what type of description to put, I would just recommend taking a look at, you know, some of the different active postings and see, okay, what parts of this job description do I like? What do I not like? And kind of compile something together with that. I'm taking a look at my notes here. If you're going to be hiring for a position that accepts federal work study students and non-federal work study students, we recommend having 2 separate positions. So just make sure, let me see if I can try to find. Sometimes people will note in the job title, FWS standing for like a federal work study position, but any student who's not eligible for federal work study, if you're noting that as you're creating the job, then they're just not able to complete the application if they don't have that kind of status on their handshake record. That's something that's automatically imported, which is something that saves us in our office a lot of time having to manually import those. But yes, so this one right here, they have a work study position and then a non-work study position. So just kind of keeping that in mind to kind of keep track of your applicants, to have 2 open positions for that. And then one of the important things to note too, as you're going through, if you've posted your position, you've been interviewing for your applicants, and you've decided, hey, I want to hire someone, as soon as you'll definitely want to make sure to mark the student as hired. And then that process will then be sent, and that student will be sent to HR, which will kind of hand things over to the HR process. So if you're not marking them as hired right away, then that'll just delay the rest of the process, because the student is just marked as pending until you kind of change their status in there. And then I just have one last thing I want to mention before sending it over to Isabel, but we will be presenting at all of the new student orientation sessions and encouraging students to learn a little bit more about on-campus employment process, and specifically helping them know what documents that they're needing on the HR side to help them feel more prepared as they go through the process. We know sometimes it can take a little bit, especially for our new students, to get all of their documents in as they're going through the application process, because maybe they didn't realize they needed their social security card, or they didn't realize they needed hard copies of some of those federal documents. So one of the things that we're trying to do to kind of help alleviate some of the duration of that process is meeting them, with them during their orientation program, to be able to share, hey, if you're planning to work on campus, here's the things you want to keep in mind and make sure to bring with you to campus to kind of shorten that time period. Because we know that sometimes if they don't have the documents, it can prolong it. So we're very excited to be able to be the opportunity and meet with all the new students and be able to kind of be a little bit, be able to share that information before they start the process, instead of, having a little bit more confusion about it. So, yeah, I think that's all of the exchange information I'll share for now. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and then I'll let Isabel share her screen and be able to share a little bit more about what happens after you're marking an applicant as hired in Handshake.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. Thank you, Brianna. So I'm gonna share my screen. And so we are going through this, I hope. Yep. Okay, so basically the information is the same one that we present last year. A little bit of changes, I will say improvements. So the process will be basically the same. So that means when HR start working with the students is in the moment that I ran every morning a handshake, a report. And then I grab all the students they apply for the different positions, and I move those students to a spreadsheet. And that spreadsheet that with all the information the handshake provide me. I have emails, I have the names, I have the position they apply for. The only thing that we don't have, but the exchange is very helpful and give me names of the supervisors so I can get in contact with them. And then I have my little columns when I put like what students already work on campus, what students they are new hires, and because the process will be different. And so I need to verify all the information that is in the application. And then if the student is a new hire, I need to send the new hire package. They will have a new one, like I said, improved. And the students can fill those PDFs on the computer, so they do not need to print it and struggle to look for our printers. They can just fill the information and send it back to me. The only thing that I need to see in person is the IDs. That's very, very, very important. Brianna already mentioned it. Another thing they need to do online is the criminal background check. Then I received the supervisors, an email from the supervisors with a payroll form. Sometimes I request it, sometimes they just send it to me. That's wonderful. And then if the student need an email or login for some of the different websites to use as administrator, user, like colleague, or the supervisor need to let me know, because I need to request or put a ticket in IT to do to request that email or that login. The email for a student that is working is different than a regular student email, because sometimes they have like different information. Okay, so when the student complete the new hire package, they just send it to me or can bring it physical to the HR office, and then they will be cleared to work. So we go next. I don't know what I did. I was thinking I was going for the next one. Okay, there you go. So like I tell you, I have the name, the email of the students, the semester is very important. I like in this point, some jobs are for the summer and some other ones, the supervisor are working ahead and they are already sending the openings for fall. So again, that's wonderful because we can start getting the information from the students. It's important that student let us know and the supervisor too if the student is federal work study or if the job is federal work study. We need a start date. Some job posting or some of the jobs that I have in my report, the start date is January 2022. So it's like, no, I don't think so. So if you can be a little more, pay attention to those little details, because sometimes they tell me, okay, this job is gonna start in May, so I have just a month to get all the information together. So sometimes I send the new hire package to the students, and then I know this is like they need to start working right now. Okay, so I send like a reminder. When the summer start getting closer, I click and all the students, they apply for summer jobs, and I send an email like, are you still planning to work on campus this summer? And then I receive some answer like, oh yes, but this and that, or no, I'm just have another job. And then I try to eliminate, because for me they're still pending and I want to give them the opportunity. So that's what I try to kind of push it a little bit, like, just let me know if you still planning working here. And I have a very good response. But if I don't have the date when they start working, I just want to help you. Okay, so I need to verify the information in the system. Like I told you, it's very, very, very important to let know the students they need to go to the whole process. Remember, if they already had a job on campus, I don't need them to fill new paperwork. And please don't send the students some new hire package that you have in your email, or because sometimes we change forms. Like this year, we have a lot of issues because some supervisors had old package. For example, we are not working right now with ADP as a payroll system. And some of the students bring me information with ADP sheets on it. Like, no, we are giving them wrong information. Because now we work with colleague and everything, pay stuff and login hours will be in MEO Hub. So don't send the information. I promise I will send it to them. As soon as I saw them in the handshake, I will send the package right away. Okay, this will be the email that I sent to the students. So with all the information, and I have my email here and the location in the building so they can come to see me if they have any kind of questions. And luckily, we have payroll in the same office. So if they have questions about payroll, right there, or about taxes or they can just, we have all the team is there to help them out. And it's very important the students don't start working until they are clear to work. Again, we have a lot of issues because they apply, and even when they come to see me, they say, I already been hired. Like, no, you don't. You know, probably the supervisor told your teacher or the person in the library or someone in the office, they tell you, oh yeah, you're good. Yes, you're gonna start this Monday. If they don't bring the documentation, if they don't not able to put hours on the system, if it's needed, they are not being hired. So don't use that term because you confuse the student. And they say, okay, if I've been hired, I'm good to go. I'm like, no, you are not. So besides the applications, you will need to go to the hiring process. That will be all the documentations. And sometimes they don't even know how to fill the documents, so they can come to see us and we can just help them out or tell them what to do. Or but when they are hired properly is when I send the email that you are clear to work. And before, they used to send the new hire package to the student and the supervisor. I'm not doing that because I know I'm just gonna fill your email with a bunch of emails that you don't need. The only email that I'm gonna copy the supervisors is when it's clear to work or when it's an issue there. Like I don't know, that we are just waiting for the background check, or everything is done, just one ID is missing, or, little things, then I will include the supervisor to help me because they have close contact with the student. And the problem with start working without being hired, besides it's a liability as a employer, the university, because if that person is working and have an accident, like, it's not in our hands because it's not being hired properly. We need to look for all that. And sometimes the students came to the office like, I just wonder, I've been working for 2 months and I never get paid. Like, what? If you work, you need to be compensated. So that's why I think they do it for that reason too. So it's very important that we as a supervisors encourage them to, okay, finish your process and then start work. You can start working right away. Because sometimes it's like, no, I'm good. And they just work and never bring the documentation. And then when they bring the paper, say, okay, you're gonna pay me tomorrow? Like, nope. You're gonna get paid the next pay period. So they get a little upset, and I understand, but that's why we are not, it's better to tell them, no, don't start working until you have been cleared to work. Okay, this will be the payment form, and I'm working and put it on a portal so you can have better access. But most of the time, as soon as I receive I run the report, I send the student employment pay rate form, and you have these formats. You can send me a stipend group if you have more than one student, and hourly individual or hourly group. It don't need to be like, if you're gonna pay 3 students $11 and the other 3 10, that's fine. They can go in the same sheet. Just be specific in there. And so this will be the screen that I will place the IT ticket for. I'm sorry, I'm seeing some question popping in my screen. I will answer at the end. because I have like the PowerPoint in all my screen and I'm not able to see the little questions. Okay, I'm sorry. So this, like I told you, this is the screen in the where I place a ticket to request a student worker account. So I will need the name of the student, the department is working, the person to request the access, the building of the office, the start date is important if they need an email, and if they need access to college, additional notes. Additional notes will be if they require a laptop, or if they could be working in a different office, or different access they will have. So just be very specific, and then as soon as you send me the requisition, or you just let me know these students need email account, and I will work with you to make it happen. Okay, so it's when the new package is complete, including the appropriate identifications for the I-9, again, must be original documents, because a lot of students tell me I have a picture on my social security card. Picture is not enough. I need to see it. It's a government requirement, and they need to understand that. I think this working on campus, we are trying to prepare them to the real world. So if we do the things correctly from here, they will know when they go outside and apply for another job, they already know what they need to do, and they will be prepared. So the criminal background check, and then the rate form, or the federal works approval. I've been working here for a year. Actually, today is my anniversary, my work anniversary. And I was thinking, I was told that if the position is not federal work study, but the student was, I need to request the approval anyways. And there wasn't that other way. But talking to financial aid, I discovered is up the supervisor. If the supervisor want to use their own budget, they are able to do it. Even if the student is federal work study, if the supervisors decide, okay, that's fine, I don't want to use those funds, I will pay with my budget, he just need to let me know. So you just need to let me know, okay, this person, because what I do is when I run the report, if the position and the students are federal work study, I send the request immediately for approval. But if the job is not, but the student is a federal work student, I send the request anyways, and I hold from the pay rate form until it's approved or not. Actually, if the student is not approved, I send the pay rate form request with a note, federal work student not approved. So then they can send me that information right away. Okay, when the student receives the email, like I told you, something simple, like the example that you can see in the screen, you have been cleared to work for, and I try to be specific with the job because some students apply for multiple jobs. Okay, so if the student don't receive the email, if you as a supervisor don't receive the email, don't allow the students to start working. Just contact me and just to see where is the process. Okay, so for this will be the time entry hours. The students, when I hire them on the system, they will be able to see this screen so they can start recording hours. They go to the MU Hub, to the employee, and then time entry, and then can start. And I send them the manual, the self-service training manual. I attach it to the Clear to Work email. When I don't attach the manual, it's because they are already working on campus. So I don't try to send a bunch of extra information. So I just send the notice they are good to go. Okay, so for approving our supervisors, the same thing. You just need to go to the MU Hub, to the time approval, and then review the students. You will see a list of the students. And it's very important that when someone that you hired is not showing or is not, never showed, not even the first time, or go a couple times and then stop showing. And if you want to out of your roster, just let me know so I can move him right away. Because sometimes we have people, they are like, I don't know, 10, 15 people, and only 5 are working. So the other 10, they need to be removed. I'm able to do that so you can have easy access in a better way to approve your time cards for your students. So, and again, I always try to send the manual with the Clear to Work, and it's the same one that I send to the students. So you can just go there and go to the page 20, and you will see step by step the time card approval. If you have any question, you can contact me anytime. Okay, just as a note, the hiring semester will be fall, spring, and summer. If the student was hired for fall, automatically can keep working on the spring. Don't need to apply again or nothing. The only thing when they need to apply again is over the summer, because sometimes the position require more hours, and then the tax information will change with us. And if the student is gonna work in a different job, they need to apply for every different job, because some people say, well, a couple of students tell me like, I've been hired so I can work any place. Like, no, you need to be hired for that specific position. And if the student change from federal work study to a regular worker, I need to know that too. The students become employees, so they have an important role in all this process. It's not just HR, the exchange, and the supervisor. The students is the main actor in all these things. So we need to let them own the process and follow the process step by step. Where am I? What else I need to do? When we'll start? So because they complete the hiring process, they work and they need to work and submit the hours, and they get paid. That's the fun part. And then they need to update the information. You know, if they change the address or something, they need to let us know, because again, we need to treat them as employees. All right, so any question that you can have about this, you can contact me or anyone in HR and the payroll department. Okay, I'm gonna put my information for a few seconds in there, but you can find me in the HR office or in any of the directories. All right, so let me move this screen here, and I'm gonna check. I think I saw a couple of questions.
Thanks, Isabel. We do have a couple questions in the chat. I was gonna go ahead and let Kim present first, and then we can go through and answer some of the questions. And I know some of the registrants also had a couple questions that I was going to go through as well.
Okay, all right, sounds good.
Kim, I think you might be muted.
Okay, Mike, do you hear me now? Okay. I am representing financial aid, and the biggest thing that I want to stress is that we are upon a new school year, and so we will need the new FAFSA, the 22-23 FAFSA. Once we have that, then we can go ahead and put their financial aid together to see if they're eligible for work study. Somebody who may have been eligible last year may not be eligible this next coming year. So right now we are in the process of packaging our current students. We've been getting calls on that as well from students saying, where's my financial aid? So we're getting started on that, and hopefully by May we will have that wrapped up. And so then, Isabel, I'll be able to let you know as far as the fall semester, summer, fall, which of those students are eligible for financial or for federal work study. So I like what you said, that, when you, Isabel, send me my list, I like to know what, are we talking summer? Are we talking fall, spring? It's always good to know what semester we're talking about. So really, that's it. If a supervisor finds that they need that student to work more hours, the standard is 7 hours per week, and they're paid $10 an hour. And then we base that on 15 weeks per semester. So these students will be earning a little over $1,000 per semester. If a supervisor wants them to work more, they need to contact our department, because we need to look at that student's financial aid to see if they have room for more hours or a higher pay rate. So each student's financial aid can be different. So that's where we need to do that on a per student basis. So that's really all I had.
Thank you. So yeah, we can go ahead and get to some of the questions here. Like I said, we have a couple questions of people that had submitted prior to the session as well. And the first two questions about posting deadlines for the positions and if there's more than one opening for the position. Those are great questions. I should have clarified that when I was speaking about having the positions in Handshake. So you're able, whenever you're creating the posting, able to say how many positions you want to hire for the role. But if you, again, want to hire some for federal work study or some that are not federal work study positions or with federal work study pay, that's when you would just want the different postings. If it's all for the same pay, or if it's all either just federal work study or not federal work study, you can have one posting and you can just be noting how many positions are available. I wanted to clarify too, so as you're creating the postings, you're able to say, yes, we want a student to submit their resume, and we want them to submit their cover letter, but keep in mind that when the students are uploading that to complete the application, our office here in the Exchange is reviewing each of the documents that they're submitting. So with that in mind, we would appreciate if, when you guys are setting deadlines for the postings, setting those at either a Thursday or Friday, like midday around noon or so, just because sometimes we see that they're set for like 11:59, but we're not in the office at 11 o'clock or 11:30 at night. So having those set at midday during the week allows us to come in, answer any of those last minute questions for those students, and get those final documents approved so they're able to complete their application prior to the posting. So wanted to reiterate that as well. So thank you for those questions. This is a question, I think, for Isabel. Someone had asked, are student pay periods biweekly now, even for students that are paid with stipends, not hourly?
I think this will be decided by the department, because some stipends are paid even every 2 months. So, but we are open to pay them bi-weekly. So we are processing only bi-weekly pay periods right now. So if you as a department want to pay the students once a month, you just send us the dates when the stipend will be paid, and will be once a month. If you want to pay them In the stipend payroll sheet, you will see that you are able to put the dates when you wanna release the money from your budget. So if it's gonna be every 2 weeks, every month, or every 2 months, I think you are able to.
We also had a question. Can students who graduate in May work during the summer? So I'm assuming after they're officially graduating, are they able to work on campus during the summer?
As a student worker, no.
And the next question, are international students eligible for work study? It also goes with another question that was asked too about if there are different limitations for the hours students are able to work. So if there's limitations for the hours international students work on campus versus federal work study versus part-time.
They're not eligible, international students are not eligible for work study.
Thank you. And then to reiterate too, like work study is limited on the hours they're working per week because of the need that they have if they're eligible for work study. Can we clarify too, like summer hours that students are able to work on campus if there's a restriction on the hours a student can work during the summer?
So on that, we'd have to look at each student separately on that. You'd contact the financial aid office and we'd let you know that.
Thanks, Kim. Let's see. I think I answered all of those questions. We did have a question asked previously about what's the difference between an intern versus a regular student employee. And I think this can differ between each department. I'd be happy if you are looking at, a student wanting like internship credit for their part-time role here on campus. I'm happy to kind of work with you and kind of give you some resources on what that might look like and how to kind of differentiate. Essentially, I like to kind of describe, just like a little bit more intentional with the experiences the students having in that work environment, right? So being intentional about giving them experiences in different, maybe the operations side or kind of in different types of areas of your work, being able to kind of, not just be focused on one small area, but being able to get a behind the scenes of, okay, this is how we might be doing this, or maybe helping a little bit in like a interviewing or a review process. So I'd be happy to share. There's quite a few resources that I have copies of that I'd be able to share for anyone specifically looking for if they're looking at having interns in their office, or if a student is approaching them saying, hey, I would love if I'm able to spend more time in the office this semester if I can get credit for these hours. How can I be intentional about the work that's being spent here? So definitely feel free to reach out to myself if you have questions about that. There were a lot of questions about hiring platforms, so thank you, Isabel, for sharing more information about how to approve hours in the MU Hub. Cool. I think we have answered everything. Is anyone on the call here? Does anyone have any specific questions that they would like answers to, or will we have a couple different departments here? Awesome. Well, as always, Lil, did you have something you wanted to add?
Yes, just something small. Hi guys, I'm Will, by the way. I don't know if anybody who I have or haven't met. I'm the student support specialist with the exchange. A lot of questions that have been filtering through. We get a lot of students who have applied to the position, but may be on that pending documents that Bree was previously talking about. You as a supervisor will not be able to see the student application. So whenever you have a student who may be like, hey, I submitted this application, a lot of times it may be that their documents may still have required changes. If that is the case, definitely following up, reaching out to the exchange will definitely help them with those changes. So that way we can get them handed in and completed. A lot of times it'll show on their screen like, hey, I've submitted this, but it's not completed yet until approved through the exchange with pending documents. So that is all. Thank you.
Thanks for the clarification, Lil. Well, if we don't have any other questions here today, then we can give everyone about 10 minutes extra time back. So exciting. But if you have questions later on, definitely feel free to reach out to any of us. So, the exchange, we're able to help. If it's a HR question, Isabel, if you have questions about photo work study, you can reach out to Kim, or if you're not sure where to go, reach out to any of us and we'll direct you to the right office as well. But we're here to help. We know that sometimes it can be a confusing process. So, definitely let us know if there's anything that we can be helping with. But again, thanks for the time. Just spending time, trying to become better student supervisors for our students. We appreciate it and hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you so much, Bri.
Bree, you still there?
Yep.
Was going to let you know, Brandy reached out to me. She said that it is definitely possible to make that into, make our thing into a YouTube video.
Cool.
We may just need to, also you're still recording, sorry. But I was going to let you know that I think